chapter 37. But I think most of you know that chapters and verse numbering didn't occur in the original text. And that's one of the unfortunate things about particularly between chapter 36 and 37. So today I'm going to start off with flowing through from chapter 36 to chapter 37 by reading the words of Elihu, who was telling Job about God. Remember that you should exalt his work, of which men have sung. All men have seen it. Man beholds from afar. Behold, God is exalted. We do not know him. The number of his years are unsearchable. For he draws up the drops of water. They distill rain from the midst. Which the clouds pour down. They drip upon man abundantly. Can anyone understand the spreading of the clouds, the thundering of his pavilion? Behold, he spreads his lightning about him. He covers the depths of the sea. For by these he judges peoples. He gives food in abundance. He covers his hands with the lightning and commands it to strike the mark. Its noise declares his presence, the cattle also, concerning what is coming up. At this also my heart trembles and leaps from its place. Listen closely to the thunder of his voice and the rumbling that goes out of his mouth. Under the whole heavens he lets it loose, and his lightning to the ends of the earth. After it a voice roars. He thunders in his majestic voice, and he does not restrain the lightning when his voice is heard. God thunders from his voice wondrously, doing great things which we cannot comprehend. For to the snow he says, fall on the earth, and to the downpour and the rain, be strong. He seals the hand of every man, that all men may know his work. Then the beast goes into the lair and remains in its den. Out of the south comes the storm, and out of the north the cold. From the breath of God ice is made, and the expanse of waters is frozen. Also with moisture he loads the thick clouds. He disperses the clouds of his lightning, and it changes direction, turning around by his guidance, that it may do whatever he commands it on the face of the inhabited earth, whether for correction or for his world, or for loving kindness, he causes it to happen. You see, in chapter 36, he clearly says in verses 24 to 33, the greatness of God. But his comments about the greatness of God don't end at chapter 36. They continue on through verses 1 through 13 of chapter 37. And you miss the significance of the greatness of God and his majesty when you stop at chapter 36. And if you happen to be doing a project like reading through the Bible and it happens to stop at chapter 36, it does a terrible injustice to the greatness of God, the majesty of God, and the praise of God. Yes, Elihu had some things pretty straight, and he understood the greatness of God. As a matter of fact, I particularly like the fact that he says, and I hear his thunder of his voice, and I tremble. My heart trembles. It leaps from its place, he says. Ron Dunn used to have a saying that I really enjoyed. He used to say something like this: God spoke to me. Oh, I don't mean audibly. I mean much louder than that. I think Elihu understood that. I think he understood how God can speak, maybe not audibly, but much louder than that. Well, as we continue in chapter 37, after verse 13, we see that he wants Job to listen and to understand. And he wants to be sure that he understands that man needs to fear God. And he does not have regard for those who think they're wise in their own hearts. What's the application of chapter 36 and 37? Well, he's worthy of our praise, no doubt about it. And we ought to praise him every chance we get. Secondly, we ought to be aware of our own pride. That's what Elihu kept saying about Job. Job, maybe the problem, maybe the reason you're going through all of this is God is trying to correct you for your pride. And then finally, fear God, for it's the beginning of wisdom. Do you fear God today? I don't mean sitting in a corner trembling because you think he's going to do something that you don't deserve. I mean, do you respect and have reverence for God? Do you believe his word? Do you believe that he reproves those that he loves? Do you believe that he loves and has mercy for all of his children? Well, I do. And I believe that we ought to praise him more than we do. So I'm about ready to post onto Facebook this lengthy passage of praise that Elihu made, because it's true. Nobody can understand the greatness and the majesty of God, but we ought to start to begin to understand it. And that's my thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.